What do financial advisors actually do? That's the question we're going to answer today. And you might think that's a question that you should already know the answer to, but believe me, it can be very confusing. If you lined up 10 different financial advisors, quote unquote, and asked them what they did, they could do very different things. So today, I'm going to help you understand what financial advisors actually do, and also we're going to talk about important terms regarding the financial industry that you need to know as you're selecting a financial advisor to help you with your money. My name is Grant Ellis. I'm the owner and CEO of Ellis Retirement Services. We've been helping people prepare for and enter retirement for about 21 years. But back to the subject at hand. Oftentimes people approach the idea of working with a financial advisor and then they get confused and they get uncertain because that term means many different things to many different people, financial advisors included. So today I'm going to talk about the term. I'm also going to tell you what financial advisors actually do. And there are primarily 3 to 4 different things. And then wait until the end. I'll make sure and tell you what I think everyone should be looking for in a financial advisor. When you hear the term financial advisor, what does that really mean? Well, I'll let you in on a little bit of a secret. It doesn't mean anything. There is no legal or formal definition for what a financial advisor does. There are licenses that you can get to do different things in the financial industry, but the term financial advisor, even though it's used all the time, doesn't mean anything. So as a person who is looking to work with a quote unquote financial advisor, how are you supposed to figure out who you need to work with and what they should be doing for you? That's the intent of today's video, is to give you a behind the scenes look at what we actually do, so that if you should choose to work with an advisor, you know what you're getting into and what you could expect. Let's start with the terms. The term financial advisor is a good term, but there is no true definition, and it might be called something else. A person could call themselves a wealth manager, or a financial planner, or a financial advisor, or a broker, or a consultant, or a financial coach. There are many different terms that a person could call themselves that works in the financial advice industry. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it makes it difficult for you as the consumer to figure out who you're working with, who you need to be working with, and what you need to be getting for that. So I'll provide you a little context as to what happens in our industry. In our industry, you get licenses so that you can do certain things. As an example, if you get a securities license, that allows you to potentially sell securities products, stocks, bonds, things of that nature. Different types of licenses allow you to legally sell or provide products or services to the general public. And there are many different kinds of licenses and many different kinds of designations that allow you to learn our craft. So that makes it difficult for the consumer because, number one, they aren't sure of the experience and expertise that an advisor might have. And number two, they don't know what they should actually be getting or what the advisor actually does. So I'm going to lay out the 3 primary things that a financial advisor does for a client. Number one, and the number one thing that people think of when they think of financial advisors, is investment management. It is exactly what it sounds like. You give your money or your investments to an advisor, and they invest your money on your behalf. Now, there's lots of things that go into that. I know for us, we do investment management, and there are all types of things that we do underneath that umbrella. But investment management in its simplest form is exactly what it sounds like: investing money on behalf of a client. That's one of the 3 primary things that an advisor, a quote unquote financial advisor, can do for you. And it's very helpful and very useful for many people. The second thing that advisors can do for you is what is called financial planning. And financial planning is also a very general term, but what it means is that someone is looking at your overall situation, your goals, your objectives, your time horizons, your needs, your risk tolerance, all of those fun things, and they're helping you craft a plan for what to do with your money, how to do it, and they're helping you adjust the plan along the way. So if you think about the first thing that I mentioned, investment management, that's very specific. You are investing money. You are handling the investment management for that person's money. Number 2, financial planning is much more broad, and it's very specific for the individual or for the family. Think about it like a personal CFO for you and your family. They're helping you with all the aspects of your financial life. They're helping you figure out where to put money, how to handle your insurance, how to handle your estate planning, how you should best use your employee benefits. They're also almost always including wealth management or investment management inside of that. But they're taking all of those different things and aligning those with the goals that you have as an individual or as a family. And usually investment management is part of that. but it's much more encompassing. It is taking a look at you and helping you plan for the future and telling you or making recommendations for what you can do and exactly what you should be doing, and then helping you adjust along the way. One of the key things I want people to know about financial planning is that it is not a one and done process. You're not handed a financial plan and left to your own devices and hopefully it all works out. Financial planning is a living and breathing thing that evolves and changes over time as your life changes. And as you go through different stages of life, from having kids and needing to save for cars and college and weddings and all those fun things, and then you get closer to retirement, your needs and your goals change, and your financial plan should change with that. So that's what number 2, in terms of the primary things that financial advisors can do for you, is financial planning. And the third and final thing that a financial advisor can do for you is to provide you access to tools or products. Tools and products often get a bad rap. Think of things like life insurance or disability insurance or annuities, anything that you can purchase. I like to use the word tool because it needs to be used to help you meet an objective, such as protecting yourself from a disastrous situation, protecting your family should you pass away. These are tools. And oftentimes, the reason the tools get a bad rap is because they can be oversold or abused, just like anything else in life. I don't want you to think that these are bad things. There's nothing wrong with an annuity. There's nothing wrong with life insurance. There's nothing wrong with any product or service. I like to say that every product or tool has some use case. There is a reason for it to exist. And for certain people in very specific situations, they can be very useful and helpful. The problem is, if they are sold as the objective, then they can be abused and they might not necessarily be used in the right way. So what happens as the consumer is you have a bad experience with someone who calls themselves an advisor and always tends to put you in a new product, oftentimes that costs you a lot of money and pays them a lot of money. That can be a very difficult situation to recover from. And so if you've been in that scenario and you're trying to approach a financial advisor for the first time, you might be wary because you think that every financial advisor works like that. Just like any other industry, in the financial advice industry, there are good actors and bad actors and everything in between. So part of the reason for this video is to help you understand what exists out there and what you might need. So to summarize the 3 things that you might be looking for in a financial advisor, number 1 is investment management, where they help you with your investments. Number 2 is financial planning, where they become your personal CFO and help you with all of the aspects of your financial life. And number 3 is products or tools, very specific use case items that allow you to protect from certain events, to plan for certain events. They're very, very specific. So what do you actually need, and how do you know whether or not you're working with an advisor who can help you? There's a couple of rules of thumb that you can think about. There is no right and wrong, and I encourage you to talk to multiple advisors, even us, and always get a second opinion, but there are some things that you can think through. In my personal opinion, and again, this is not advice, this is just personal opinion based on 20 years of experience, I think that everyone needs to start with financial planning. I believe that everybody needs to figure out what they need to do with their money and how they need to set up their life to help them have the best opportunity to meet their goals and objectives down the line. I believe it's a great place to start for anyone, especially if you are entering a stage where you're uncertain about whether you're going to meet your goals in the future. Financial planning and the people that provide financial plans are the ones who will help you take a holistic view of all of the things in your life. And then underneath of that, almost always, the person who's helping you with financial planning, let's call them an advisor, is going to also help you with investment management. I can't speak to every advisory firm, but for our firm, that's how we handle it. We always do planning first and also coordinate it with investments. In our eyes, the investments are tools that help you meet your financial plan and the goals inside of that plan. They are not the objective, although they are very closely tied together. So I believe you should start with financial planning, tie in investment management, and then fill the gaps with any tools and products that you might need to, for instance, reduce risk or protect yourself from certain scenarios. So even though there are 3 different things that financial advisors can and potentially should do, in my opinion, and again, it's just my opinion, to each his own, and you have to do your own research, and this is not advice. In my opinion, for our firm, the best way that we can help our clients is to potentially incorporate all 3 when necessary. And you might be wondering, well, how does a financial advisor get paid to do this? That's a whole different video. I did a full video on how financial advisors get paid. You can click on the link below where I did a full video and give a rundown about how financial advisors get paid. That's a different discussion for a different day. What you need to do is determine what you're looking for. Do you need someone to help you with your entire financial plan, to help you create goals, help you figure out how to save money and invest money to meet those goals? If you're close already to retirement, I'd highly encourage you to talk to someone that does planning, because they can help you with distributions. How do you withdraw money from your accounts? How do you handle the tax situation that you're going to be encountering as you enter this different stage of life? But there are people who just want help with their investments, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there are people who simply need some form of product. They want life insurance. They want disability insurance. My point is that there is no right or wrong. There's only what's right or wrong for you. And so I encourage you to do your research, look into the different types of advisors that exist. And finally, I'll give you, in my opinion, what I think is the best way to figure out whether the advisor you're considering working with is someone that you will work well with. In my opinion, the best way to do that is to get a list of their clients and communicate with one or more of their clients directly. We can all say we're going to help you out, and every financial advisor, whether they're good or they're not so good, is going to tell you that they do a great job. It'd be weird if they told you they did a poor job. I don't know of any advisors that walk around selling on the fact that, hey, I do a really poor job and I'm planning on taking advantage of you. So how do you know? A great way to figure that out is to talk to their clients. And any advisor who's confident in their process and they are confident in the way that they treat and work with their clients is going to be more than willing to provide you access to a few clients that you can contact directly. And any advisor that is confident in their process and confident in the way they treat and care for their clients is going to be more than willing to connect you with their clients so that you can speak to them directly. And that way you can have discussions with them and hear their experience of working with the advisor that you're considering working with as well. That to me is the best way to figure out whether the advisor you're considering working with is going to provide you the level of service and care that you need. I hope this is helpful for you today. If you have any questions or you want to talk or you'd like to talk to us, we love to hear your stories and see if we can help. You can go to our website, which is ellisretirement.com. We'll put a link to it as well. And in that website, there's a button at the top that says schedule a call. That schedules a call directly with me on my calendar. And I'd love to talk to you and hear your story, see if we might be able to help. And I encourage everyone, I think everyone at some point, most likely, should consider working with a financial advisor. It's just a matter of figuring out who that is, what they do, how they get paid, and how they're going to help you meet your goals. So best of luck in that search, and if there's anything we can do to help, please let us know.